Hey everyone, welcome into our latest TDR Cannabis in 5, presented by Dutchie. I'm your host, Shad Dales, and today we're talking about momentum and a brand new national poll that shows 2/3 of American voters now support legalizing marijuana nationwide. Well, that's welcoming news. And this comes at the same time that President Trump is weighing whether to reschedule cannabis at the federal level. So, what does this mean for policy, for the industry, and really for investors and consumers? Let's walk you through the 5 key takeaways. So let's dive into our latest TDR Cannabis in 5, presented by Dutchie. Number 1 is the Americans strongly backing legalization. Here's the headline that you need to know. A new national survey shows 65% of voters say legalizing marijuana across the country is a good idea. Only about 1/3 say it's a bad idea. So that's not a narrow split, that's a solid majority, and it's a big jump compared to last fall when support was about 60%. So if we break it down even further, nearly 8 out of 10 Democrats support legalization. About 2/3 of independents support it, and even inside the Republican Party, support is nearly at 50%. Think about that. By age, younger voters are most in favor. 7 in 10 voters under 30 back legalization. People in their 40s are also strongly in support, and the only group that tilts against it are voters over 70, where support drops just below half. So even that's almost split down the middle. Putting this all together, and the message is clear, the American public is already there. The question isn't if legalization happens, it's when and how. So let's now move to number 2, which is Trump's big decision. As we move now to the political side, while the public has made up its mind, Washington has not caught up yet. As we know, President Trump is seriously considering whether to reschedule cannabis under federal law. Right now, marijuana sits in Schedule 1, the same category as heroin, which is crazy, labeled as having no medical use. That classification has already been controversial, and that's putting it mildly. If cannabis is moved to a lower category like Schedule 3, it wouldn't legalize recreational use nationwide, but it would mark a historic change. The federal government would officially be saying cannabis has accepted medical value, which we all know it does. And that shift could have a huge ripple effect on research, for the industry, and for investors like yourselves. Now let's shift to number 3, what rescheduling could unlock. So what does rescheduling actually mean in practice? Let's break it down. 1 is taxes. Right now, as I've said many times, cannabis businesses can't deduct normal expenses because of a rule called 280E. Rescheduling would likely fix that, freeing up a lot of cash flow. Then there's research. Doctors and scientists have long complained that cannabis is nearly impossible to study under Schedule 1 rules. Moving it down opens the door to real clinical trials. Next one is banking. While it doesn't automatically pass safer banking, rescheduling lowers the stigma and could make banks more willing to work with cannabis companies, which will be the case. So this wouldn't solve every challenge overnight, but it would make running a cannabis business easier and would put the industry on a stronger footing. And speaking of making things easier, that's exactly what our friends at Dutchie do. Whether you're running a dispensary or shopping at one, Dutchie powers clean menus, smooth checkout, and a safe, simple retail experience. They're helping move this industry forward one order at a time. If you're a dispensary owner and want to learn more about e-commerce and making your transactions more smooth, visit business.dutchie.com. Now on to number 4, which is the disconnect between public and policy. Let's put things into perspective. On one side, you have a public opinion. 2/3 of Americans want legalization. Nearly 9 out of 10 support medical access at the very least. Then on the other side, you have policy. At the federal level, cannabis is treated like heroin, and that is a massive disconnect. At the state level, we've made progress. 24 states plus Washington, D.C. now allow adult use, and another 40 states have medical programs. But that still leaves large parts of the country with no access at all. And until federal law changes, the patchwork, it's going to continue. And this is what we've been pushing for years. And finally, number 5, what to watch next. Here's what comes next. A few things to keep an eye on. 1 is the big one. If Trump calls on rescheduling, if he announces a change, it could set off a chain of reaction in the industry. Then there's number 2, Congress. Lawmakers could follow up with broader reforms like states or more, but gridlock is always a factor. Number 3, you've got markets. Even the rumor of reform drove cannabis stocks higher recently, especially with the industry already seeing momentum. Number 4 is equity. Advocates will push for any federal change to include record expungements and pathways for communities harmed by prohibition. So this isn't just about economics, it's about fairness and updating outdated laws to match where the country already is. The conversation is getting louder. I keep pushing these videos out every single week. We want to set the narrative and push this message forward, and we need your help as well. So here's the bottom line. 2/3 of voters now back legalization. 9 in 10 Americans support some form of legal cannabis, and for the first time in years, a president is weighing a real shift in federal policy. As I've said before, rescheduling won't be full legalization, but it would be a major step forward. And in this industry, momentum, as we know, it really matters. All right, that's it for our latest TDR Cannabis in 5 presented by Dutchie. Leave your comments below. Do you think there should be some form of cannabis reform happening right now? I think the response, obviously, will be very overwhelming in favor of that. Give us reasons why. So let's keep this conversation going. As usual, if you like this breakdown, make sure to give it a like, smash on that bell for all notifications, and make sure to subscribe to us here at TDR. That's it for now, everybody. And like I always say, stay open-minded, stay connected, and I'll see you next time in our latest TDR Cannabis in 5 presented by Dutchie. I'm your host, Shad Dales, and thanks again for watching.